House of the Dragon has plenty of dark scenes, but this part of Episode 7 may be the darkest, literally. And that's the least controversial thing about this season that has fans up in arms. Spoilers ahead. House of the Dragon Episode 1, The Heirs of the Dragon, revolves around a tournament heralding the birth of the new prince. Viserys is sure it'll be a boy, while Queen Aemma just wants an end to her miserable pregnancy. Her labor is intercut with attorney. The knights smash each other's faces, but the real horror unfolds in Aemma's bedroom. The Maesters tell Viserys that they cannot save Aemma, but they may yet save the child. It's upsetting enough that Viserys is given control over Aemma's body. It's worse still that he can't bring himself to tell her the truth. Aemma suffers excruciating pain and panic as the Maesters not so carefully slice her open and pull the infant from her womb. She dies moments later, and baby Balon perishes before the day is through. Some viewers felt the episode should have had a trigger warning, and many lamented that the Game of Thrones universe was still torturing and disposing of women for shock value. We meet Daemon's mistress, Mysaria, and the heirs of the dragon. Then we get to know her better in Episode 2, The Rogue Prince. Daemon steals a dragon egg and takes off for Dragonstone on Caraxes, with the supposedly pregnant Mysaria. Otto and the Kingsguard arrive to negotiate his surrender.
Welcome to Dragonstone, Otto.
But Rhaenyra and Syrax have everything under control. She lands a dragon, de-escalates the situation, and recovers the egg. It turns out Mysaria isn't really with child, and she's not happy to have been used in Daemon's scheme.
I have been sold this property more times than I care to count. Beginning in a homeland I can no longer recall.
Viewers were fine with the story, they just couldn't wrap their heads around Mysaria's accent. As Fire and Blood details, Mysaria is a dancer from Lys who's smarter and more capable than most people assume. But the choice of accent exoticizes her and is simply difficult to understand. No one else from this region of George R.R. Martin's world sounds this way, nor does actress Sonoya Mizuno, who was raised in Somerset, England. As if pimping out his daughter weren't bad enough, Otto Hightower takes things even further in Episode 3, Second of His Name. As soon as Alicent gives birth to little Aegon, Otto begins scheming to put his grandson on the Iron Throne. This episode follows a hunt held to celebrate the boy's second birthday. The Hand uses the opportunity to sway Viserys with tradition and symbols.
I've never been one for signs of importance, Your Grace, but if the gods did wish to show their favor.
But when he doesn't seem to be getting anywhere, he changes tactics. Princess Rhaenyra is still in need of a husband.
You must marry.
When Viserys vents about the political problems this presents, Otto suggests that perhaps the 2-year-old Prince Aegon and the 17-year-old Princess Rhaenyra could marry each other. The Targaryen king, with his long family history of incest, balks at the idea. Besides, even though he's 15 years her junior, we wouldn't want to inflict Aegon's depravity and abuse on poor Rhaenyra. Episode 4 of House of the Dragon, King of the Narrow Sea is among the most salacious hours of television set in Westeros so far. Rhaenyra very nearly hooks up with her uncle Daemon before she coerces her employee and sworn protector, Sir Criston Cole, into bed. Then she swears on her dead mother that what we just saw happen didn't really happen. But for all Rhaenyra's wildness, viewers found another sex scene harder to stomach. Alicent is settling in for the night when a servant interrupts her peace.
Pardon me, Your Grace. The king has requested your presence.
This is an order and not an offer. As Rhaenyra is enjoying sowing her oats, Alicent lies still and expressionless underneath the king, who is, as fans pointed out, visibly ill. Not even the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms rules her own body. Otto Hightower might be the force behind the Green's treachery, but Sir Criston Cole, who carries out most of Hightower's schemes, might go down as the most hated character on House of the Dragon. After their dalliance, Criston asks Rhaenyra to run away with him. She refuses, but doesn't exactly reject him, merely explaining she must fulfill her duties as heir.
I am the crown, Sir Criston. Or I will be.
It soon becomes clear that Criston never loved Rhaenyra. He's an insecure, possessive hypocrite with the shortest ever fuse and the longest ever grudges, which makes fans absolutely loathe him. At the feast to kick off Rhaenyra's wedding to Laenor Velaryon, the groom's not entirely secret boyfriend, Joffrey, susses out that the princess and her sworn protector must be sleeping together.
I know who it is. The handsome paramour. Oh.
Joffrey doesn't realize their relationship is past tense, so when he approaches Sir Criston to form an alliance, he's tragically unprepared for the knight's extreme overreaction. As the gathered wedding guests take to dancing, Criston knocks Joffrey to the floor, then beats him until his face is pulverized beyond recognition. We don't know what precisely Criston's motivation is. He might be worried word of his broken vows of chastity will get out, or perhaps he's simply spiteful. Whatever the reason, fans find this vicious murder abominable. Joffrey and Rhaenyra appear to have a healthy, loving partnership. To many, including the Advocate, Joffrey's murder feels like a particularly egregious example of media's tendency to kill off gay characters. Healthy relationships are rare in Westeros, so when fans miss an opportunity to see one unfold, they get upset. Harwin Strong doesn't get many lines prior to Episode 6, The Princess and the Queen. Non-book readers may have entirely missed him admiring Rhaenyra at the hunt, or bumping into her on the Street of Silk.
Then who might you be running from now?
It's the Harwin.
Princess.
But after the 10-year time jump, we can tell from pretty obvious context clues that Harwin and Rhaenyra are very fond of each other and have had a relationship for most of the previous decade. He's the real father of her 3 boys and is as doting a family man as he can be under the circumstances. He tells his own father in response to rumors, "You have your honor and I have mine." That honor compels him to defend Rhaenyra and her sons against Criston and his insults by way of a good strong punch. Unfortunately, this costs him his job and soon after his life. When they say their goodbyes, he and Rhaenyra make eyes at each other, but alas, Breakbones, as he's known, must leave the princess and princes without so much as a goodbye kiss. This irritated fans, who might have liked a positive scene of physical contact after so many portrayals of assault and abuse. Failing that, fans of Harwin just wish he could have stuck around a little longer. Episode 7 of Season 1, Driftmark, sent fans into a tizzy, but they weren't upset by violence or cruelty. They were bothered by the lighting. Driftmark opens with Laena's twilight funeral. After the sun goes down, Daemon and Rhaenyra consummate their 15 years of flirtation on the beach, while Aemma sneaks out to test drive Vhagar.
Vhagar is my mother's dragon.
Your mother's dead. Vhagar has a new rider now.
In the aftermath, Aemma instigates a brawl and loses an eye. House of the Dragon fans complain that they couldn't see what was going on due to the episode's extremely dim lighting. Many compared the installment to the infamous Season 8 Game of Thrones episode The Long Night. The long-awaited Battle of Winterfell underwhelmed audiences, despite its record-breaking scale, because everything was so darn dark. When fans expressed their outrage that this happened again with Driftmark, the show defended the lighting as a purposeful artistic choice. Since House of the Dragon takes place in a world without electricity, a certain dimness is understandable, but many fans believe this nod to authenticity interrupts basic storytelling. While Daemon, Criston, and even Otto age well from episode to episode, King Viserys looks more and more worse for the wear. But to everyone's surprise, he's at his most heroic when he's at his most decrepit in Episode 8, The Lord of the Tides. George R.R. Martin told actor Paddy Considine that he prefers his take on the character to his own, comparing Considine's Viserys to King Lear. Fans agreed, championing Viserys' last stand for his daughter and lamenting his final family dinner. Then comes the misunderstanding to end all misunderstandings. With his final breath, the Withered King thinks he's continuing a life-or-death conversation with his daughter, when really he's talking to his wife. He means to tell Rhaenyra that he believes in Aegon's dream, and what's more, he believes the prince that was promised will come from her line.
To unite the realm against the cold and the dark.
But Alicent wrongfully interprets these phrases to mean that he wants their son Aegon to succeed him. Instead of setting things right, Viserys messes everything up, just when he was finally ruling the realm and his family with strength and solidity. Book readers were particularly taken aback by this development. In Fire and Blood, Otto and Alicent usurp the throne just because they want to. This show-invented ending completely changes the reason the Dance of the Dragons starts at all, which many fans find unnecessary and frustrating. The drama that's been building up all season comes to a head in Episode 9, The Green Council, when the Green seize power. It takes a lot of objectionable behavior to pull off this coup. Criston brutally kills Lord Beesbury during a small council meeting. Otto seeks to assassinate the other half of Viserys' family. The servants are imprisoned, and Rhaenys is kept captive in her room. We find out that Aegon II not only has myriad bastards running around Flea Bottom, he spends his spare time at child fighting pits. Oh, and Meleys kills hundreds of commoners while escaping the Dragon Pit. But what really upsets viewers is the price Larys puts on his information. Alicent's personal master of whispers approaches her with some intel concerning her father. Before he spills the beans, he wants something in return. Alicent takes off her shoes. When that doesn't produce the desired result, she removes her stockings. This all happens without a word being spoken between them, which is proof enough that it's happened before. She turns her head as Larys enjoys the sight of her naked feet. Larys is exploiting Alicent, and Alicent knows it, but there's nothing she can do. This squirmy scene is vintage Game of Thrones. It's out of left field, gross, and meant to shock us. Indeed, fans couldn't stop talking about this moment after the Green Council aired. Even die-hard Rhaenyra fans can't help but feel for the Queen in this moment. Twins Jaime and Cersei Lannister's long-term relationship is at the heart of their dysfunction on Game of Thrones, but both the creators and fans of House of the Dragon are more on board with Daemon and Rhaenyra's romance, though they're uncle and niece. Maybe the fact that it's a Targaryen tradition makes them okay with it. Maybe it's just that Matt Smith has chemistry with everybody. Maybe it's that once they exchange their very particular marriage vows, Daemon and Rhaenyra seem pretty happy together. Whatever the reason, Season 1 got many to root for this uncommon couple. So viewers were understandably shaken by the moment Daemon grabs his wife by the throat in Episode 10, The Black Queen. Rhaenyra is considering Alicent's terms. She feels Viserys tasked her with preparing for the coming war in the north and holding the realm together. Whether she sits on the Iron Throne while doing that is of less consequence. She confides this in Daemon, thinking he's been let in on the secret of Aegon's dream.
This secret, it's been passed from king to heir since Aegon's time.
But he hasn't. Daemon seems to become enraged by the thought that Rhaenyra might be a cautious and omen-savvy ruler like her father was. He grows even angrier when he realizes Viserys didn't trust him with this information.
Daemon was not made to wear the crown, but I believe that you were.
Though we've seen Daemon react impulsively on several occasions, many viewers felt this abuse was out of character. Notably, the scene doesn't occur in Fire and Blood. Daemon isn't a hero and isn't even a good husband to Rhaenyra in the book, but this moment still feels like a bridge too far to plenty of fans.